Well, we just got out of church today, and church was pretty good. Preacher was basically talking about, being careful about not allowing people to make your decisions for you. If God tells you to do this, then you do what God says, not what everybody else says. And that is so true, because I remember there was a time where my parents wanted me to do this and they felt that it was better for me to do that and do this. But God told me to go reserve. So I went reserve. My parents wanted me to go active duty, but I went reserve instead. And there was a time where my dad thought I was making a dumb decision, but I knew what I was doing. I knew exactly what God wanted me to do. So that's exactly what I did. I went reserved. I went to the reserves instead of active duty. And then I also remember when people were trying to tell me that I shouldn't marry my husband. And that's not what God wanted me to do. He wanted me to marry him. And that's what I did. The preacher made great sense, saying that you need to be wise in who you get your advice from. You don't want to pick the same people who's the same age as you that doesn't have any type of knowledge or wisdom in the manner of marriage and stuff like that. You want to pick somebody who has years of wisdom and has been through some things, and has a biblical standpoint of how life is supposed to be. You don't want to just pick random people. Like when it comes to me and Troy, when it comes to us picking somebody to counsel us when marriage and stuff like that, we never pick somebody that's like the same age as us. We always pick somebody who is seasoned in the word, is seasoned in marriage, and understands the ups and downs and tribulations. That we as people, we as Christians, we need to remember that God is the number one. He's the person we should be going to discuss our problems and issues. And that is just my thing, because I'm a Christian. I do go to church, and God is number one in our lives. So it is important for me that I hold up to that standard. That in regards to what me and Troy do, is what me and Troy do. No one is going to change me and Troy's mind of whatever we decide to do. That includes family. And I know a lot of people feel that, it's very true that family do have a large impact on decision making, especially when you're young. I remember when we first got married, me and Troy were both 20, and a lot of people wanted to control a lot of things that we did. And maybe there was a reason why God made sure that me and Troy were never near family, and all of our families on the East Coast and whatever. And over the years of living away from home, we've learned to defend ourselves. We learned that the only person that we can depend on strictly is God. And not having that stability of our family right there to help us helped us to grow up, and it helped us to know that when nothing else fails, God takes care of us. And He has taken care of us for the past 8 years that we've been away from our family. And it's gotten to the point where, we don't strive, or we don't try to get closer to our family or whatever like that, because in all reality, it's not like we're saying that we don't need them. It's that we know that we can make it, and we can make it, and we can survive without them, because God has us. God is taking care of us. God has kept us for these last 8 years. I'm not trying to say that, without your family, you shouldn't just dismiss your family. No, I'm not saying that at all. I love my family, okay, to be exact. I love my family. And I would love to be near closer to them or whatever like that. All I'm saying is that over the years, We realized that, you know, we're good. I don't have to be down the street for my mama to feel like we are okay. My thing is that whether I'm down the street 3 hours away, 12,000 miles away, or whatever, when you move away from home, you know who supports you and who doesn't. Through their actions, how they respond to you, how they connect with you, how they try to communicate with you. That's just proven fact. If they genuinely support your decisions in whatever you decide to do, they will make a way and make an effort to be a part of your life, no matter how far away you are, or no matter what. It wouldn't be one-sided or anything like this. And you'll know who's for you and who's not when you move away from home. Trust me, I know. We have some. But in all, me and Trey has no desire to move closer. We're okay. I'm okay being here in Texas. You know, we've been away from home for so long. It's like, why would I want to go back? I love my family. I still go and visit. You know, I still go and visit Clarksville, and I don't mind visiting, but I can only do it for 1 week. After a week, I'm good. And I'm like, all right, well, it's time for me to get on the road and head on back to my house. I like the distance. For me and my family, distance is good. We communicate more when we're away. We talk to each other more because we miss each other more. But it's the other ones where when we get around each other for a long period of time, that's when it's like, okay, it's time for us to go back to our designated, go back to our house. I love my family to death, but I can only take them in lump sums. Because my parents can be little, you know, whatever. My parents know that, but they know I love them, and they feel the same way. So it's neutral. It's not like, you know, we're asking too much of them or whatever, but that's just life. Yeah, that's life, and I'm okay with that. So, also another thing, when you're young and you're married, a lot of people feel that their input will value more because you're young. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that even though we're young, doesn't mean that we're stupid. You know, when we were young and we were 20 years old when we got married, so it was kind of hard because, you know, that was the first time I was on my own with a spouse. Like, on our own with a spouse, and it was just the two of us having to figure out things like how adults do. And it was kind of hard for me to understand that because for years I have always just watched my parents, and my parents were the ones who did all this stuff, and I always just watched them and just like, man, you know, I want to be just like them. But then when I got to that position of being adults and having car notes and stuff like that, I was like, man, I don't want to be an adult anymore. I want to go and I want to go back under my parents' roof and do whatever. But over the time, we grew up. It helped us to grow up, and it helped us to realize that, you know, we're no longer kids. We have to live life, you know, for the best. You know, we learned and we realized that we can't depend on everybody else. Sometimes you just got to depend on God, depend on your abilities to make it happen. And so over time, as years went on, we learned to live. We learned to continue to make it. So that was just us. And it's hard, you know, having family members telling you that you should do this and you should do that when your gut and something else is telling you, no, I think we should do this. Not everybody's opinion and not everybody's advice is suitable for a person's lifestyle. Don't get me wrong, there has been some great advice over the years from my parents. But at the end of the day, it's still me and Troy's life. We still have to make the decision of what's best for us. What is best for Troy, Victoria, and our kids. What is best for us. We can't please everybody. We're only us. And that's it. We have made several sacrifices for others. And over the years, we realized that, you know what? We need to stop making so much sacrifices. We need to stop making too many sacrifices for others, and in return, we get nothing. And we realized over time that we can't please everybody. We have to do what's best for us. So we've came into this mindset, you know, that we need to do what we need to do for us. Not worry about everybody else and how they think, and not let everybody else's moans and groans and their opinions change our decision because it didn't make somebody happy. Hey, look, we're never gonna make everybody happy. There's always gonna be at least one who's not happy because we decided to make this decision or make that decision. But that's not my problem either. My only focus in life is to focus on my family, to focus on my husband, and most of all, focus on God, and to make sure that me, my husband, and our kids are doing great. In regards to everybody else, I'm not saying I don't care. I do care. But I gotta take care of my house first. And over the years, I had to realize that I cannot take care of everybody else when I haven't taken care of what's at home. So that is why I cannot stress this enough, that you have to, oh my gosh, you have to have your house in order. You cannot be trying to help everybody else and your house is all jacked up while everybody else is asking for you for this and asking you for that. But in return, when we need you to help us with something, you can't help. It's not fair. Not at all. So over time, being young and married can be quite stressful because you have the select few that feels that you need to come to them to get the advice from them so that they can feel like they're needed. In reality, I don't need nobody. And I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just being realistic. I don't need anyone. The only person that I need is God and my husband and my kids. They're the only ones. And if I have nothing else, I know that I will be taken care of. So some people take my personality as being a very harsh, blunt individual. And it's not so much as me being blunt. It's just that I just don't have time for playing games. I don't have time for mixed signals. I don't have time for pretending. I don't have time for none of that. My thing is that we are too old. Life is too short to be sitting here wondering about this and wondering about that, and ain't nobody being straightforward. It's time out for that. I don't have time for it. I will respect you more if you came straight to me and tell me flat out how you feel than you be shady and tell me something completely opposite. It's just like, why be fake? You're wasting my time. So, and I'm pretty sure we'll expound more on that later on down the road. But, you know, being young and now being married to my husband of 8 years, we've had a lot of issues with family. A lot of issues. And a lot of people feel that, well, because you're young, you don't know nothing. Oh, I know quite a bit by examples, but from what I've seen as an example. But don't get it twisted. Don't undermine my intelligence because I'm young. I might be 20, but I've seen a lot of different things that's happened in different people's marriages. And And those examples are very vivid to me, to the point where I know. And I make sure that when I see an example in someone's marriage or in anybody's relationship, that I learn from their mistake by just watching and seeing the outcome of what happened to them. I make it known that, hey, I'm not going to be doing that type of, whatever. So it's important to me that any example that you see around you, remember it, look at it, watch it, and just learn from their mistakes. Over time, we had to tell people, no, we can't help you. And it sucks, but that's when it goes back into we had to take care of us first. And some people take that as us being selfish. No, we're not selfish. But for the people who are thinking about getting married and they're young and they're hesitant of doing it because of family members, if you know that you know that you know that this is the person for you, y'all prayed about it, this is the one for you, and you feel it in your heart that this is the right thing to do, then don't allow other people to change your mind. Do what you want, because at the end of the day, if you was to listen to everybody else, you will regret the fact that you didn't listen. Now, if the signs is clear and the signs are evident that this dude is just not for you, or this girl is just not for you, but at the same time your heart is telling you that this girl is for you, and I gotta be with him, I gotta be with her, but the signs are telling you that this fool is not even bringing you up. If anything, he's bringing you down, or she's bringing you down. You went from being up here to now you're down here. Then that right there is evident. Okay, if you missed those signs and your family members is pointing out the signs, then maybe you need to reevaluate and make sure, okay, and check yourself. Like, do I really want to be involved with somebody who has this much issues? Is it worth it? And so when I made the decision to marry Troy after knowing him for only 2 months, he asked me to marry him. I hesitated just for a little bit because of thinking of, wow, my parents are going to flip. I only knew this guy for 2 months and he asked me to marry him. But in my heart, it was like, it was right. So I said yes. And, during the course of the next 4 months, there were people in our ear telling us we shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that. You should go out and live your life and do this and that or whatever. And you should go ahead and do this and do that. We didn't feel that way. The love we had for each other was strong. The connection was strong. We clicked. There was no hesitations or I don't know. We just knew. Was we scared? Yeah, we were very scared. We were both fresh from leaving home, and it was hard. It was very hard for us. It was very nerve-wracking, very stressful. But when we moved into our first house on base and we had our stuff up and everything, we realized that, we can do this. This is okay. This is cool. Our first year of our marriage, we didn't argue that much at all. We actually was just enjoying just being together. And then things started to show up. As any married couple will know, you start to see their real true colors and the issues and the everything. Like, everything comes out the closet and you're like, whoa, this is not what I expected. And it happened to us. And for a long time, it took us a while to get to the point that we are here, where We accept the things that we cannot change. The only thing you can do is pray about it. And we pray about the issues. We pray about the situations. And we're still here to this day, stronger than ever. Our love for each other is growing every day. Before you know it, we'll be hitting 10 years of marriage. It'll be 9 years this year. Next year will be 10. We'll be turning the dirty 30. We never thought that I'll be saying that anytime soon, but we turning 30 soon. And I remember when I just left the house. I moved out at the age of 19. Yeah, it was some years ago. But I encourage somebody who's thinking about it to pray about it. And if it's right, God says do it. Do it. It's your life. No one else can live your life but you.